Folks, we talked about Beto O'Rourke on the show. I mean, the Senate, I'm going to say this now. I think there is a decent chance, an underestimated chance, and maybe because it wouldn't have relevance from a political standpoint, but that we end up with a 50-50 Senate. And Mike Pence ends up breaking a bunch of ties for all sorts of things coming out of the Senate. But if we don't, if the Democrats end up taking the Senate, it's going to be because Beto O'Rourke wins. I'm quite convinced of that. It's possible that win could come from Tennessee with Breedson, but I think it's more likely that if the Democrats end up taking the Senate, they're going to lose Heitkamp's seat, but they're going to pick up Arizona, they're going to pick up Nevada, and they're going to win in Texas. And here is a woman who was interviewed after voting for Beto O'Rourke in El Paso, Texas, and she seems to be heavily invested.
Represents everything that Donald Trump isn't. Tell me what it means to you to see Beto, who's sort of a favorite son around here. I mean, we're in his neighborhood a few blocks away, True. Out here representing El Paso, representing you, hoping to represent the whole state. What has it meant for you to see what he's been saying and what he's been doing on the national stage?
Well, I give him a lot of credit for standing up and saying what he thinks and for being willing to represent so many people who are like-minded. It means a lot. We're just so proud.
We're so proud. What will it feel like if you see him win this race tonight?
Everything. Just everything. We want him to win. And we'll be watching the TV tonight with him. He'll be someplace in the city. But it'll mean just so much. It'll mean that, by gosh, we all still have a chance to have a decent country and with decent values, with decent relationships with other people.
Thank you so much, Pamela. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Hal.
I can't wait for conservative media to be making fun of that old lady. Right?
She sounds triggered.
Right. What a snowflake. But there it is. I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm down there. And the thing to watch, again, is that figure. What percentage of the electorate in Texas, this is also true like in places like Florida and Georgia, what percent of the electorate is the youth vote? What percent is the Latino vote? If those numbers go up, if they represent a greater share of the entire electorate in those states, then good things will happen from a Democratic perspective.
Don't they have a ton of voter suppression down there, though?
In Texas, they have. In Florida, certainly in Georgia, yes.
Like, I would love to be wrong about this, but Texas is a horror place. I feel like it's going to be a squeaker for Cruz, but I hope that I'm wrong because Cruz is terrible.
Yeah, I think, statistically speaking, it appears that Beto is down like 5 or 6 percentage points, but it's tough to know. It's tough to know what the electorate is going to look like. And if the youth share is double that it normally is, the share, and the Latino share is near double or 35% more than it normally is, it's very hard to imagine that the pollsters predicted that. Because you need to predict that, what the makeup of the electorate will be to get a genuine assessment as to who's going to win.
It's also just interesting, even if Beto doesn't win, just to notice, like, even in red states, quote unquote, a huge part of the population are just like that woman, and they've been waiting for somebody to come and articulate like a view of politics that they might actually be excited about. And I don't know, that's what's, I think, to me, affecting about that clip.